What is up, YouTube? We've got a new knife. This is the first knife in a while that I bought for myself. I know it sounds funky, but sometimes you buy knives to review and sometimes you get them in. Excuse me. You get them in for review, for like pastoring groups, stuff like that. Sometimes you just, this is the one I bought for myself to review also, that I was just really curious about and wanted to get my hands on because I've heard so many good things about them. So this is the Chavez Ultramar. This particular one is the Street G10. So this is the least expensive one you're going to find of this Chavez Ultramar group, made by Riot Knives for Ramon Chavez. And yeah, I've owned Chavez before. I've had a Midtech 228. I think I even had a custom at one point. And this is the box it comes in. Really cool box, I think. Love the black and red coloring and such on it. Really nice box. So pretty standard, but and then you got the Chavez Ultramar Redencion drop point, black PVD titanium, black G10, black PVD. So it's a stonewash PVD. Oh, I should have grabbed the wrong comparison knife. That was a dumb move. I'll pull it in at the end of the video. But this is kind of just your base. I'm just starting out talking about the specs and things of the knife. So overall length is 7.5 inches. It is 3.5 inch. I don't think that's right, actually. I swear it's 3.25 inch blade. And all of a sudden my calipers, oh, they're there. Oh, there's my ruler. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, you're more of a 3.25 inch blade. Just shy though. Your cutting edge is essentially 3.25 inches, so maybe the blade overall is 3.5, but cutting edge is 3.25. That's what I thought. It does have 4.25 inch handle, black G10. This one, like I said, is PVD coated, stonewashed, titanium, and it looks super awesome, I think. So, like they offer this one in satin blade as well, or stonewash maybe, tanto as well as the drop point, and orange G10 I've seen. There's one retailer that has it in orange G10. So these knives come in at only 235 bucks, guys. I got mine from eKnives. If you ever shop at eKnives, I recommend them for sure. They give you this cool swag pack. They give you a Band-Aid, which is funny. I think Knife Art started that one. Maybe it was, I can't remember which vendor did. A little card, and then he actually gave a cool little smartphone grip, which I've got right here on my iPhone, and it works really cool, really nice. It's eKnives. I dig it. You can also wirelessly charge with that, just a heads up. And also a free t-shirt, a Ramon Chavez Redencion t-shirt, which was pretty slick. So lots of swag. You get quite a good bit of stuff when you order from these guys. And they were out of town when I placed my order, so they overnight shipped it for free. Crazy. Like, the customer service level is pretty insane. So even at the and there's ways, if you follow them on Instagram, if you create an account, you get some points. They have a reward system. I love retailers that have reward systems. I think it's so, it makes me want to buy from them because I'm going to get points and I'm going to be able to get other knives later at a discount. So 100% love that. Alright, so enough about eKnives, and I'm just want to do my first impressions. We're going to do some testing of this knife. I have done some already, and I tell you right now, this thing is a cutter. It is a performing knife. It is 17 thousandths, well, 17.5 thousandths behind the edge, so it's thin. You look at this knife, it's kind of a beefy folder, and most of the Chavez are kind of looked at as these big overbuilt folders. But guess what? They cut well. A knife can have thicker, it's not horribly thick blade stock either, but it's thicker. It can have thick blade stock, yeah, 0.16, and still cut really well because of the edge geometry and the grind and how thin behind the edge it is. And guess what? This one is all the above. Great edge geometry, really thin behind the edge. It cuts, it performs well. So we're going to talk about more about the use and stuff, or I'm going to wrap up my thoughts on the ergonomics and all those kind of things after I do the usage. But I have done some, and I can tell you right now that this is a very comfortable knife to use. So let's do some size comparisons, some similar size knives. This is the Emerson Mini Roadhouse. You can see it's very similar in size. The Benchmade Bug Out is almost identical in length and size to this guy. Very, very similar. Well, these are all black. I've noticed all these black knives. We'll bring a little more color into the mix here. Strider SJ75. Pretty close. And the Hinder XM18 3.5 is going to be bigger. So just to give you an idea, it's in between. So it's a good size knife. Now he does have the new 229 out, or coming out. I think some guys scored them at Blade, but they're not, I don't think, out for retailers yet. I know E-Knives is going to be selling them, and they are a little bit bigger version of this knife, 3.5-inch blade, or maybe 3.6-inch blade, a little bit bigger. So this is a little more of a mid-size folder. So, all right, guys. So let's talk about the action on this guy. Holy cow, phenomenal! I mean, it is on bearings, ceramic bearings. It has a strong G10. You can see it just flies open because it's got that nice thwack, drops shut. Thumb studs are very effective. You can see they're radiused pretty well. With that strong D10 though, the Spidey flick is possible, but it's a little difficult and honestly not comfortable. I find what I like to do to open this knife is I actually take my thumb and index finger here and kind of use both thumb studs to give it a flick, and it flies open. You can use one thumb stud, but again, that gets, because the D10 is pretty strong, that gets a little uncomfortable. So this is the way I like to open it. It's quick, it flicks out really easily, and so great. They really nailed the action on these. I would have actually liked a slightly less D10, but you get that nice thwack. It opens with authority, so really nice action, really addictive as far as your fidget factor and stuff goes. Now, one reason why I've never really bought this knife before is right here. I don't love the skull clip. I think it's a little, I don't know. It's kind of the Chavez thing. He does it on all of his knives, and I get it. And a lot of guys think it looks rad and cool and stuff. And I don't hate it, but it's kind of turned me off to the knife because I've had it before, and the clips didn't work very well. They were just kind of like this extra showy piece of the knife, but actually as a functioning clip, they didn't work very well. But this one, they seems to have worked that out pretty well, I think. I think it works pretty good. I'm going to show you how it carries real quick. So it's a little stiff, but I found it goes on pretty well, and then it's kind of mostly deep carry too, which is cool. You know, but then you got this big skull sticking out your pocket, so that's not for me really. But I didn't want to. That's why I've held off on buying this knife for a long time, is because of that. Because there are all the other different versions of this one. They have full titanium ones that have micarta inlays and such, which are cool. And I've just kind of held off because of that. So I decided to stop doing it because it's a high-performing knife for a really good price, and it's made really well by Riyadh. So I thought, I can get over the clip. And honestly, the black stonewash is kind of more stealthy, and it kind of hides the clip a little bit more. It doesn't look obvious, and I like that better. So that's why I went with this version as well. Plus, it was the lightest weight because of the G10 show scale. I'll show you the weight here. 4.8 ounces on this one. So this one is the lightest. God, it's nice if that's in camera. Why is that not showing up? There we go. 4.8 ounces. Battery's low on my scale, but 4.8 is not bad. It is pretty beefy. Pretty thick knife. I want to say it's well over a ½ inch thick. Yeah, 0.54 inches thick. And there's no skeletization on the titanium. It's just a solid slab. And that clip actually adds a pretty decent amount of weight because it's titanium as well. But the handle is super comfortable, which we'll talk about ergonomics and such after I roll in some footage. So stay tuned. Been out with the Chavez Redencion Street. This is like the G10 version, mostly inexpensive. Super impressed with this knife, guys. This is fantastic for the money. Really, really comfortable handle. I was feather sticking just for fun while I'm sitting here barbecuing, and got some pretty decent feathers out of a folder that a lot of people probably would write off as being too thick and too overbuilt, but it's actually pretty thin behind the edge, and the handle, when doing those tasks, is super comfy. This kind of grip right here, the hammer. I like doing these kind of tests because you see, I think, the true ergonomics of the knife. You can hold it in hand and say one thing, but when when you're actually bearing down with a lot of pressure and keeping that wrist straight and making a harder cut, you actually can really kind of tell, and it's super comfy. So. Alright, so try this leather test again with this thick leather belt. It's a gun belt that has reinforcement inside of it. Used it on my cut test before. You can see how it's got some reinforcement in there. It's pretty thick. There we go. Nice. Good clean cut. Good ergonomics. It's pretty thick. Look how thick that is. It's got some reinforcement in there. I do these tests just to show you a few things. The ergonomics is the main test, but a lot of it is edge geometry as well and how it's going to perform as a cutting tool, which is pretty important. Now I went through that sisal rope pretty easy. That's pretty thick stuff. That went through easier than most of my knives have. So this knife is pretty thin behind the edge, which should means it's a good cutting tool, high performance. Oh yeah, that goes through that cardboard like easy. This isn't the best box here, so. Not very rigid. Review did a great job on these guys, and they've got a good factory edge. Super comfortable handle. Jimping up here is pretty aggressive, but it's not bad. So just processing some cardboard. But I like to do different medias just to give you guys an idea of kind of things you might run into in your daily cutting chores. And a lot of people use knives for processed cardboard. Let's do some different types of cuts here. Cardboard's kind of wet too, so it's kind of a good test for it. Sat in my recycle bin, got a little wet. It's not as rigid as some other stuff. It's good and kind of bad because it has too much give compared to other stuff. So this is after quite a bit of use in the edge, factory edge from Review. Still should be shaving sharp. Yep. A lot of dry skin on there, but did shave quite a bit of arm hair as well. So nice and sharp still, S35. So good heat treat. This has seen quite a bit of use. One thing I wanted to highlight too is the DLC coating. Has held up really good. Did some wood carving, some obviously cardboard processing. This is not the first stuff I've done. Some rope, that leather belt, and that coating looks like you'd never even know that the knife was used. So great ergos, great edge geometry, nice and thin behind the edge. Really great, really good knife. I mean, really good. Probably one of the best buys
that I've made in 2019. I think these came out late 2018, early 2019, and they're definitely one of the best buys. So I would definitely recommend the Ultramar Redencion Street from Riot Knives and Ramon Chavez. All right, guys, wanted to wrap up my thoughts on the Chavez Redencion Ultramar Street. Lots of words there. Definitely a really good budget. No, I shouldn't say budget, but value, really good value on this folder. I think this one is around $230, $225. You can get them a little bit even cheaper even sometimes. And for what you're getting, this is fantastic. It's super, I mean, great ergonomics on in cutting. You'd think with a little bit thicker knife that, and a little thicker blade stock, it wouldn't be such a great cutter, but it's actually got super good edge geometry, nice and thin behind the edge, and it cuts well, and it has super good ergonomics while cutting. So as a user knife, oops, didn't bump my tripod. This is fantastic. Definitely recommend. Comes in all kinds of different, you know, what I mentioned earlier in the video, different finishes. This is your best value with the G10 lock side or show side. And then just a titanium frame lock. You can also get it full titanium with micarta inlays, carbon fiber, all kinds of options. So definitely recommend the Ultramar series from Riot Knives and Ramon Chavez. Definitely one of the better values and better buys that I've made this year. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.